Today we are going to be going over the Season 5 patch notes, and it's a pretty good thing that I waited until now to cover these because they changed a couple things. So obviously the big new thing that we've got is the new map Bernal, which is basically a Mexico map, and it's pretty nice. Pretty open, pretty big. There's a lot of both close quarter fights and there's a couple long range rooftop fights. It plays a lot like Monaco. And then we have the Shack 50, which is basically an F car for heavy. It fires 2 bullets at once and its effective range is a little bit more within the mid to close range. So it's not going to replace anything like the Deagles or the Lewis, but it does deal a lot of damage. So if you like to play a little bit more of those closer ranges, this might be a good gun for you. Then we have the Cerberus 12 gauge, which is an incendiary shotgun. During the closed beta, this thing did ignite gas, but it did not ignite goo. So we are going to be taking a look at that now to see if anything has changed. So I'm just going to shoot this goo wall right here. I'll even back up a little bit just to see if I need to hit more pellets in total. I'll also shoot the ground right next to it too, see if I can ignite it. Nothing's working. Now let's try the gas. Okay, so you can ignite the gas with 3 shots. Additionally, we have the new Gravity Vortex, which basically is a remote triggerable gadget, which you can just click and it will pull people in. It's pretty good for stalling cash outs or otherwise just grabbing people and keeping them in one spot. And similar to this, the lock bolt also keeps people in one spot. But unlike what I had originally thought it might have acted like, it does not act like the motion sensor where you can just leave it on a wall. You have to actually fire it, and then it has like a 1 or 2 second window to grab people. This is going to be good for heavies who need to keep people in close range. So if you play melee heavies, charge and slam, or SA-12 even, this is a pretty good gadget for you. But next up is a huge change, and this is new sights and reduced visual recoil. This is something that I have been a little confused about for a while, is why Embark decided to have visual recoil on all of their scopes. Basically, for those of you who don't know, visual recoil is when your little crosshair that you have on your scope keeps bouncing around whenever you shoot your weapon. It was pretty annoying, and to solve this issue, a lot of players just turned on a third-party crosshair, either from an application or one that was built into their monitor, because most monitors nowadays have a third-party crosshair built in. But Embark realized this, so they decided to remove the visual recoil, basically. So now, no matter which crosshair you pick, it shouldn't be bouncing around anymore. And for those of you who were using a third-party crosshair before, you should not need one anymore. This is actually a huge change. It's going to make a lot of your guns feel a lot more accurate, and I promise you that you will be hitting more shots as of this season. Some of the weapons that received sights this season were the M26 Matter, the Cerberus 12 gauge, the Shack 50, the 93R, the Lewis gun, the Model 1887, and the LH1 got a second scope. Now we've also got the new sponsors, well, 2 new sponsors because Isolt is back. We've also got Via, and we've also got Dissent. We now also have clubs in the game. And basically, you can just create like a clan, and you can invite your friends or whoever you want to it, and you can get extra XP for competing as a team with your club members. You can have up to 50 members, and you can have a unique name and tag for your club. I believe the tag goes up to 5 characters. Next up, we've got the jukebox. A lot of you have been asking for this. This basically means that you can just pick whichever season's music you want to, or you can pick all of them, and they will play in the lobby, and they will intermittently play throughout matches as well. And then of course, this is big news for you all, but 120 Hz is going to be available for most of the newer gen consoles. And then PlayStation 4 now has support, although I am unsure what the frame rate for PlayStation 4 is, whether it's 30 or 60 frames per second. Let me know in the comments down below. I don't have a PlayStation 4. I can't really test that. Next up, we have gifting. And with gifting, you can send whatever you like to other people from the store, or you can send them the battle pass if you already have it. Now this is pretty nice. It's going to be great for me so that I can actually do like giveaways for the game. So I might end up doing something like that in the future. But now for the thing that most of you are all probably waiting here for, balance changes. And there's a couple. Now, they say that they updated the hit sweeps for quick melee attacks, making them much more reliable when trying to hit targets. I've had a lot of instances where I've just tried to quick melee someone and it is just not hitting, so hopefully this kind of helps fix that. Defibrillator got a nerf. They added revive sickness to players revived by the defibrillator, causing their specializations and gadgets to be placed on a 5-second cooldown. Basically, when you get defibbed, you're not going to be able to use anything for a little bit. This means that chain defibbing is going to be a little bit more hard to do, and lights can't just dash away, and heavies can't just charge and slam away either. You're not quite a free kill after you've been defibbed, but you are definitely an easier kill now. After this, jump pad got its cooldown increased from 30 seconds to 40 seconds, which is a little bit of an interesting change. I understand why they did it, because all high level players either just used jump pad or zipline, and this is kind of trying to encourage people to use something other than that. But I know a lot of people just kind of see the jump pad as like a fun thing. It's going to hurt that a little bit, but luckily it's not too big of a nerf. Proximity sensor. They added the ability for medium contestants to equip the proximity sensor. So now if you are a heavy or if you are a medium, you can equip the proximity sensor, and this is going to help you counter cloak, which did get a buff, which I will go over a little bit later. Next up, smoke grenade. Added the ability for medium contestants and heavy contestants to equip smoke grenades. I believe that this is a counter to the new medium shotgun, because basically every medium is going to have flames coming from their shotgun, and if you want to do things like keep your gas safe, you're going to need smoke. But this also means that light thermal vision stocks did go up a little bit, because now if everyone is going to have smoke, that means that there's more chances for your thermal vision to be effective. Next up is sonar grenade. They actually decreased the active duration of sonar grenade from 7.52 seconds to 5.25 seconds, and they decreased the time between sonar pulses from 2.5 seconds to 1.75 seconds. This basically means that your sonar grenade is going to be out for a little bit shorter, but it's going to ping more frequently. Next, they increased the zipline cooldown from 30 seconds to 37 seconds. Once again, just Embark trying to nerf the movement options just a little bit so that players are incentivized to pick other things. I don't think that these changes are going to stop higher level players from using jump pad and zipline, but it is just trying to, I guess, balance them a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think of those changes? Another one is that quick cache has been updated. It now works on a wave respawn system similar to Power Shift, and you can pick whichever class you want to in the middle of the game. So it basically just got all the quality of life changes that Power Shift has. After this, Kyoto has adjusted the map border to improve the flow in the hillside area, and they also redesigned the bamboo forest to improve readability and flow while reducing visual noise. We're going to be checking this out right now. Next up, now this is a big one. Cloaking device got a buff. Updated the cloaking device to consume energy based on the player's current movement speed while cloaked, meaning that standing still drains energy much more slowly than running or sprinting. The devs say that they wanted to encourage people to play more stealthily with cloak, but a lot of people are using cloak very aggressively, which I would agree. People are using cloak aggressively. I'm a person who uses cloak aggressively. It's one of the best ways to play it. But now, depending on if you are sprinting or walking or standing still, your cloak is going to drain differently. Next, mesh shield. You can juggle mesh shield again. It now works similar to cloak, that it has a pool to draw from, and if you spam it too many times, its health gets lower and its duration decreases. Now you can just juggle mesh shield once again, but you do have to be a little bit more careful. After this is the thing that I am most excited for. The 9-3R got a buff. They increased the damage from 24 to 28. They decreased the horizontal recoil. They decreased the vertical recoil. They increased the fall off start range from 23 meters to 28 meters. And they increased the damage fall off multiplier at max range from 45% to 55%, meaning that the weapon will do more damage at a longer range. The devs refer to this as a nuclear buff, and that is exactly what I've been asking for. I've wanted this gun to be good for so long, and now it looks like it finally is. I think this is even more of a buff than we got in the preview event. Next, dual blades got a little bit of a buff as well. They increased the speed and duration of the lunge for each attack animation, making it easier to reach targets that are just out of range. This was a big problem I had with the dual blades before, is that you could be almost practically on top of someone swinging, and as long as they were running away, you'd basically not hit them. This shouldn't be an issue anymore, hypothetically. Next, the deflect got a little bit of a change as well. They decreased the dispersion angle of deflected bullets from 2.5 to 1, meaning deflected bullets are now much more accurate. They decreased the damage modifier for direct hits from enemy bullets from 0.2 to 0.1, meaning players will now take less damage when deflecting hits at the center of the blade's deflection angle. They also decreased the damage modifier for glancing hits from enemy bullets from 0.4 to 0.3, meaning players will now take less damage when deflecting hits at the edge of the blade's deflection angle. They also increased deflection angle from 25 degrees to 35 degrees, making it easier to block and deflect bullets, and they decreased the incoming melee damage modifier from 0.33 to 0.25, meaning players will take less damage from melee attacks when trying to deflect. And it seems like this is some pretty good changes to the dual blades to make them a lot more usable. Will they be better? I don't know about that, but they're going to be a lot better than they used to be. Now, the revolver. They decreased the bullet dispersion when firing from the hip by approximately 20%, making the weapon more accurate. Now, during the preview event, you were actually able to two-shot lights with the revolver, which means that the body shot damage did go up by a little bit in the preview event, but it seems like they didn't change anything for the live game, which is interesting. Next, spear, the basic attack. They increased the launch distance from 6 meters to 7.5 meters on basic attacks, making it easier to hit enemies. They increased the launch speed by approximately 15%. They increased the launch cancel on basic attacks, causing the player to come to rest earlier once they they hit the target, and they also increase the damage of each swing from 100 to 105 on the secondary attack. These are all pretty big changes for the spear. Next, the XP54 had its ammo increase from 30 to 34. This, along with the changes to visual recoil, should make the XP54 feel a lot more usable. Besides this, there were some bugs that they fixed. Here's all the bugs that they fixed. I'll show them on screen now. Pause the video if you want to read them. And they also added 30 additional career ranks, but these don't give you really any cosmetics, just a badge that shows your level. Now, for you controller players out there, here's a little bit of a change that you might want to take note of. They increased default horizontal sensitivity from 160 to 200 and increased default vertical sensitivity from 130 to 170. They also increased max horizontal and vertical sensitivity from 500 to 750, giving controller players more flexibility on what sensitivity they'd like to play with. This is a good thing to keep in note. This basically means that you have a wider range of sensitivities to choose from. Next, here are some gadget changes. Gateways will now destroy surrounding goo when activated, so potentially a way to destroy goo if you have no other option. Also, they fixed an issue with jump pad where players could use it and pick up the jump pad at the same time. Sorry guys, no more doing that. With thermal vision, they fixed an issue causing cloaked characters to be overly bright for players using thermal vision on the PS5 Pro and on PC when the TSR resolution scaling method was selected. Now, this is a big one for us content creators out there. They added an incognito mode for players who want to protect themselves when streaming. This feature randomizes the player's matchmaking queue time to help avoid stream snipers and will also hide identifying features such as rank score on the player's own screen. They also fixed an issue where glitch could cancel evasive dash mid-dash. And finally, there are two other changes I'd like to go over. They fixed an issue that caused glitch grenades to not detonate on impact with dome shields and mesh shields. And finally, for the spear, they fixed an issue with the secondary attack which could cause players within range of the swing to not be hit. This is huge. I've always talked about how inconsistent that secondary attack is, so now it should feel a lot better. But yeah, guys, these are all the changes that they have for Season 5 so far. I also want to note that it appears in these patch notes that they did not buff the sniper body damage so that it can two-shot mediums. It was like that in the Season 5 preview event, but it looks like that did not make it to the live game. So all of you that were worried about that being an issue, it seems like that's not going to be the case. But those are all of the changes that Embark have made so far for Season 5 of the finals. What do you think of them? Let me know in the comments down below. I've made a brand new Discord that you can join if you would like to, and also make sure that you subscribe for mostly weekly finals content. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.